Hello, good evening, and you're welcome to Dear Analyst, a special edition called for dedicated towards NSAS. My team and I came up with this. Just was really, really last minute. We actually didn't want to do anything, but we decided just to actually do something. So I'm trying to share my screen and just kick off the webinar proper. Okay, yeah, good, good, good. It is 7:31, and then shall we? Good evening, you're welcome. Good evening, Adeyemi. Good evening, Deima. You're welcome. Adeyemi, I can't hear you. Are you trying to talk or say
Good
something?
evening.
Yeah, good evening, Adeyemi. How are you?
I'm fine.
Is this your first time on Today Analyst? I'm just saying this name.
Oh no, this is not my first time.
Oh, good. So, Adeyemi, what do you do for a living? Would you like to introduce yourself, Adeyemi, before we move forward? Deima, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm doing good.
Did you go out for the protest at all, or you're just retweeting online?
I am an online protester.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Everybody will get to play our part. That's the biggest thing. You're welcome. iPhone 1, is that you? Paul, you're
Yes.
welcome. Yes, where have you been, iPhone 1? Like it's been ages. Like really, really ages.
It's been ages, I know. I've been really busy with schoolwork and
Yeah. How is school
but
going?
going well, thank you.
That's good. Are you almost done now? What's
Yes, I'm almost done.
oh,
My
that's
final
good. That's
semester.
good. So you start earning those dollars.
Yeah, something like that. Well, that's it.
that is that's
They're
good.
also
That's
waiting for Nigeria to get better so that we can go back to our father's house,
yeah,
our father's land. Yeah, so that's it.
yes. That's what we are all out screaming about. That yes,
Yeah,
these guys really has to hear us.
yeah. I'm also protesting online. So
Yes, which is really, really beautiful. Those things are actually really critical. Those who are
yeah,
speaking online, on Twitter, Instagram, on YouTube as well, to YouTube videos just like this. Because I just actually noticed that when I did not want to actually do this episode, but it just actually occurred to me, no, we still have to do it in the name of the analyst, and that is it. So I'm expecting two of my friends, they are lawyers, so just come talk about legal backings or actually talk about different legalities of data and personal data. Paul, how far have you gone out to protest at all? Olubode, any updates? Have you gone out at all? Are you protesting online? What are you doing? Have you donated? Because these are all of the things that you need to do. You need to course. You need to talk about it. You get play your own part.
Yeah, I'm part of the Twitter warriors.
Good stuff. Um, that is really, really good. But please also donate. Even if it's 100 naira, you have to donate, or 200 naira or something. Lasisi Salama, you're welcome. This is my first time of seeing you. Would you like to introduce yourself and what you do? Welcome to the NSAS edition of Dare and go ahead, Lasisi. Okay, so let's then begin to talk. Let's kick off this session. Good evening, dear analysts, and you're welcome to your webinar podcast as well. To anyone, some people say it's a podcast, some people say it's a webinar. Anyhow, it goes this way. You get it's a career webinar, but today we're doing a special edition dedicated to NSAS. You get dedicated to NSAS. You get this know how you live in this country as a young man, and you're actually hit in your late 20s very few of them, very few young men in their late 20s that actually have issues with policemen. I've not had issues with policemen. You would almost have had an issue with policemen. You get one of my very cousins was actually accosted. You had to transfer money to them for me to. I had an issue. Why I do not want to share my issue because it's in court and we don't want to share all the details out there. You get a guy was beaten, slapped. You get a whole lot of these things. I don't want to share so much because it's in court and I want to sue for we are suing for very good zeros. We've had all terrible stories, very, very terrible stories. And this is it. We feel coming together, we can put an end to it. And I'm very, very super, super happy about everything that is really happening right now, about people actually coming out, lending their voice to the cause and lending their voice to the cause. So today, very early this morning, I got a whole lot of tags. People just tagging me on Twitter. Hey, Anonymous has done this. Anonymous has done that. Sending out people's private data. Now, if you want to say something, you can always unmute yourself. Daniel, you're welcome. It's like Daniel has been like very, very back-to-back. He hasn't missed sessions in a very long time. Thank you so much, Daniel. So the biggest issues for me with the Anonymous group, who they call themselves an hacker, just like in a whole lot of movies, you just see a group of persons coming together to hack particular websites and then dump the data online just for persons just to go and use it. That you are dealing with personal data. And this is one of the biggest issues we're actually coming out to protest against, because police collect people's phones, or people in the force, or people in the uniform, or men in the uniform, or men with or without uniform with guns, collect people's phones, then start searching through people's phones. That is personal data. NDPR, GDPR, everywhere on the planet Earth, it is really, really unlawful and illegal for you to actually go through somebody's phone. You get, and it's very, very painful when this guy says, hand over your phone for monitoring or searching. He says, if you're confident enough that I know you're boy, you should be able to drop your phone. Those things actually really, really made me very, very, very angry. Like, for mine, that my day was the day I had my own issue was 2 hours. 2 hours. I don't talk so much about it, but what we'll talk about is personal data. You get personal data. It is really, and as young journalist out there, I did a thread. I had to come on the Telegram group and type it in capital letters. Please stay away from these things. Why? Because too wrong does not make it right. Because if you take somebody's personal data, you get, they can even come after you and then sue you. You get, so it is really, really, really legal. Please let us try as much as possible to stay away from any form of personal data. So what actually is personal data? Let's define personal data. People's phone numbers are personal data. But here there's an exception. Once you're in public office, you should at least have a particular number. Public office, especially if you are voted into power, or different public offices like senators, people in NAS, your emails, you should have an email for public data or for public consumption. Of anybody should be able to reach you on that as a senator, especially if they're in your constituency or you're in their constituency. Phone numbers, you should, their phone numbers as well. They should also have a particular phone number where people can actually reach them on. You get, and actually not only for senators, I'm just saying senators, commissioners as well, should be able to be reached. You get, like that, because different issues, different persons in public office that hold public office. So for them, they should have a particular phone number and email address that is actually comes under public data. You get, that comes under public data. So you get to personal data and majorly people's phone numbers, email address, their house address is also personal data. Bank details, don't even go there. That one is over personal data. You get personal data. These are very, very sensitive data you do not mess with. You do not actually mess with. So please, begging you and say, please stay away from people's personal data. Stay away from people's personal data. Then what actually is then public data? Public data is any form of data which you put out there. Now, which you are putting out there, e.g., you are putting a post on social media, that is public data. I need you to understand. Your Twitter post, Facebook post, Instagram post is all counted as public data, because if you go and read Twitter's terms and conditions when signing in, or Facebook terms and conditions when opening an account, they will tell you this thing falls under public data, because anybody and anyone could just Google you and find you and just have access. You are putting out there on or out there just as past public data. Now, data on the website. Once you put any data on the website, it becomes public data. E.g., if you put your phone number on the website, it then becomes public data. Because if you go to court and the person says he found it on a website and there's proof and he has proof, a screen grab or something, then that is public data. Okay, so we should be able to actually get to understand the difference between personal data and then public data. So I actually wanted to shine a light on that. Lucent, you're welcome. You get. So in case you have questions, you can always feel free. This session is a freestyle session. You get, or you want to say something, or you feel it is like that. Please go ahead and do so. So please, in the comment section as well, or on the Telegram group. I think on the Telegram group is much more better. Please, we're looking for insights. Don't start analyzing the NSAS data. We're looking for insights. Tell us, what would you like to see? Everybody has been shouting geolocation. Wait, we'll get to the part of geolocation where we tell how many people is tweeting from Lagos, how many people are sharing, you get from Jos and the like. So a whole lot of images from Jos, which I actually feel, yes, those guys are really brave the odds today. And today as well, to Lagos in Alausa was not peaceful. Lagos in Alausa was not peaceful. It was really something. I actually wanted to go to Alausa, you get, but different calls started coming in. I had to do different stuff. I almost was at Alausa. So when I checked social media, started seeing different things. It was really very scary thing. But the biggest thing is that how the coordination has really been going is really impressive. You get, right now, there is security on guard in Alausa, security on guard in Lekki, security on guard for different places. Please also lend your voice. Look for the ones closest to you and please just go. You get, that's what I wanted to share. So back to public data now. Public data can then come in different forms. You get, public data can come in different forms. Public data can come as music, can come as audio, can come as yes, audio VNs. E.g., if you do a BC, a broadcast of an audio VN, you get, and you just send it. I'm very sure you have, and we all have got parents on our WhatsApp that always keep sending. Back in the days, my mom used to send me one very early morning audio VN like this, of different people praying or saying some things, and I'm like, it's enough, and it's enough. So these are the biggest. Sorry, one of my cousins came in. I asked him to do something for me, so I just had to quickly mute myself. So those VNs, those voice notes are not public data, they are not personal data. They become public data. Why? Because they are broadcast. So a broadcast message is not personal. Why? Because it's been sent to different persons. You sent it, you have forwarded it to different persons, especially now group data. Good stuff. Group data. We also get there as well too. I didn't plan this thing. I just to share from my heart. I just come to take a particular BC and you forward to a group, and people always forward. They now put forward as received. You get the stuff about BCs or broadcast messages, as the name implies, is that you should please ask for the source. Whoever sends the broadcast message should actually write the source and write the name of maybe his name, what he does. E.g., like during the COVID-19, when the lockdown just started, there were just too many BCs flying up and down. You get, but some were actually written by, they just put name, Dr. this, Chief Medical Director this, or doctor at this hospital, this and this is what they're saying. So such data like that. So yes, a broadcast message is also data. You get, such data like that is public data. And for you to send out a message like that, it is really critical that you actually put your name on there. But the dangers of all of these BCs is that people could just copy and paste and put another name on there and not credit you. Or people can copy and paste or create a new message or update your message and then put your name on that. You get, e.g., the message has got 5 paragraphs, or the BC has got 5 paragraphs. And people will now update it and update a particular BC to 6 paragraphs and then put somebody's name. That can actually take somebody to court and actually lead the person into jail, you get. So please, you have to actually note all of these things, because the 21st century, or the new age in which you're actually coming into, so much data is being created at a massive rate. And it is really, really scary, because people actually do not actually know what they are actually getting themselves into. E.g., if you falsely accuse somebody, if the person can screen grab it and you then delete it, you might get to court. You might get and put in big trouble. You get. So yes, I've also been tweeting sometimes. I have to really, really caution myself, because yes, it's a very, very emotional thing, and the emotion on social media is really, really high. Really, really get caution myself. Sometimes I have to delete the tweet and then recompose the message again, like that. Now let's then talk about group data. E.g., a whole lot of group data. Not once, not twice. I constantly delete data from on the Telegram group. Persons just come there and just drop data about this, data about that, blah, blah, blah. And I always ensure that I delete it for them. You get, I delete them sometimes, and I say, please, anything about personal data, please run away from it. E.g., in case you are pulling data because you are doing web scraping, and you then pull the Dear Analyst community group data and the chat, and you then say, oh, you want to do analysis with it because you're an analyst, I can sue you, because myself and my team created the group. Myself and my team created the group. You do not take data from a group, e.g., WhatsApp group, Facebook group, Telegram group, LinkedIn, any group, without the knowledge of the admins. Now, that is why even when persons paste things in the group, I always try to ask them one-on-one, or ask the admin to please verify the info before you paste. Because if you also paste something in the group, sometimes the admins might also be liable to a lawsuit as well. So they'll say, yes, you permitted such information to be shared. So when people say leadership experience and they put WhatsApp group, yes, you are overseeing a particular group. You're ensuring that fake news or just any form of frivolities is not just shared there, because if anything is shared there and it gets to a court issue, they will call who were the admins, who started the group, how did you get into the group, what was the purpose of the group? A whole lot of questions start being flying around. So we actually wanted to ask or just share about that. Please, any question before we move on? You have a question, something about public data, personal data, or anything in between, please feel free to ask. Feel free to ask questions, or you also have questions on ethicalities of web scraping, the ethicalities of pulling data from the internet, pulling data from different media sites. So please, I would also want to urge you, please, on the Dear Analyst Telegram group, put there the kind of insight you want us to see, you want us to do, or want us to analyze from the EndSARS movement. Just tell us. I want to know the hourly mention of Jide Sanwo-Olu. I would like to know the this. I would like to know the that. I would like to know the this. All of those things are really, really critical. So please, questions. Daniel, any question? Lucent, question. Paul, question.
None yet.
But let me questions. Bayo, questions. iPhone 1, what's your name? I need to stop calling you. Daima, go ahead. Yes, unmute yourself and ask a question. Yeah.
All right. So I want to ask, what if these data are online and then you just create it from online? Is that still personal data? For example, people's Facebook, their account is online, and then you scrap data from there. Is that still? What do you say?
Okay, good. I said good. Continue. Daima, continue. Oh, maybe probably somebody's talking to her.
Okay, I said, what if this data is online already and you just scrape the data? Example, like in Facebook. Profile online, they are there, and you just scrape it to analyze something. Is that still public data?
Yes, good. Yes, good question. Or private data, yeah. Yes, good question. Now, if somebody puts his account number on his Facebook page, puts his phone number on his Facebook page, his email address on his Facebook page, and or his house address. He's the one that put it there by himself. The line is breaking. I can't hear you. Please, maybe you should just type it in the comment section because the line is breaking. Dayma, could you just type it in the comment section? Your internet is breaking and we can't really hear you. So if somebody puts it on Facebook by himself, then you then know that he's the one that made private data become public data. You did not ask him. So that's why it's a very, very big issue on Nigeria Twitter space when people are saying giveaways, drop your phone numbers for this, or drop your account numbers, and people are dropping numbers. And I'm like, this is scary. This is really, really scary. But we also get to also understand that it's number one, the level of exposure, what these guys know, and also the poverty as well too. You get to, it's also poverty. People just at least just want to eat or just going to secure the next meal and just move on with their life. So we get to know that that's why most people are posting their account, their personal account number. You get their personal account number online, just asking just for funds and for support. As I want to just see any giveaway post like this, the account numbers under it is really, really always scary. Always scary. So I'll take Mr. Femi's question.
Sorry, a quick one, please. So does it mean we should avoid all this? Does it mean we should avoid all this giveaway posts? So we shouldn't try to contest so that we get free money?
Yes, please try as much as possible just to stay away from giveaways. Especially if the giveaways then also ask you to put your account number on timeline. It's better you send to them as a DM than put on the timeline. You get it's better you send to them as a DM than put on the timeline. It is really, really very scary. You get to, let me start with Mr. Femi's question. If the data is okay, let me get to Dayma because I was dealing with Dayma's question. It's if the data is already online and you just scraped it, for example, people's account number on Facebook, is that pulling? No, you're pulling public data. They put it by themselves with their own hand. So they made their own private data become public. You get, they made their own private data become public. You get, that one is their fault, not your fault. You get, but something about Facebook is that I tend to tell people to please stay away from Facebook data, majorly because of Cambridge Analytica issues and the like. So yes, you can see apply for Facebook API, submit request and it's CTC, but once you get into it, they will actually tell you that the kind of data you actually to collect is actually limited, and please, because of majorly Cambridge Analytica, I'll say please stay away from Facebook data. You get, instead use Twitter data, because how Facebook was built and the networks. Because most of the time when pulling data from Facebook from one person, you tend to pull data from their other friends and family. And this is from the Great Hack documentary, called the Great Hack documentary, Cambridge Analytica Great Hack documentary. So let me go to Femi. I hope I've dealt with your question well, Dayma. In case you need more clarification in the comment section, let's do more. So let me talk about Femi's question. Femi's question says, is it possible to differentiate between positive and negative tweets on NSAS or NSWAT? And like the regions they are from? Yes, we can definitely differentiate positive and negative tweets. Region, I talked about something called geolocation. Now, geolocation is quite really expensive. That's what most people are majorly have been calling for, and it's really, really expensive and a bit tricky. You get, it's majorly about the cost effect you get, and this cost is actually in hundreds of dollars, not naira at all. You get, so that's why for me it's really, really expensive. But tomorrow morning we're kicking off data analytics. We're going to be seeing different types of insights where you want to do a situation analysis, but we're actually still putting heads together. That's why one of the things I'm actually reaching out. I kept reaching out on the Telegram group, asking, just send an insight. Tell us, show me this, show me that, show me this, show me that. So I believe I have answered the second question, saying, is it possible for public data to also become personal? That one is tough. Is it possible for public data to become private data? That's tough. Even if you archive your Instagram post, it can still be pulled. You get, it can still be pulled. Once you put something on the internet, not Twitter or on Instagram or LinkedIn. Once you put something on the internet, it's what we call the internet never forgets. It can still be pulled, even for persons who even delete. So once you delete, always tender an apology. You get, one of my very dear little sisters almost was accusing somebody of rape. As in, I told her, you have to do a trade, go and beg. You get, you really, really have to just really go and beg. You get, so please, let's be careful of what we put out there. That is it. And please always apologize. Please just apologize quickly. You get, don't let's get it into just different issues. So please, questions. public data, personal data. Yes, please unmute yourself. When you have a question, please. This I said it earlier. This is a very freestyle edition. Unmute yourself and just ask your question. I'm so
Good
expecting
evening,
two of my
guys.
friends that are lawyers.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, Mr. Femi.
Okay.
Go ahead.
A while back, I was actually watching a video on web pulling data from a site. So in the pulling data from a site said with web scraping, which can kind of get you into trouble when you pull data from some sites.
Yeah.
Now, my question is, if you have a site online, I come across your site, okay, I like what is there, and then I scrape data from it. Is it not public data since you already have a website somewhere anyone can come, look at what's there, oh, I like this, and then pull something out of it? Are there any limitations to web scraping, or is it possible to actually go and web scrape maybe private data when your blog is online, your site is online?
Yeah.
I don't know if you got my question.
Yes, I get your question. Yes, I get your question. Thank you so much for this. Now, once pulling data from websites, some websites will say, please, in case you are pulling data, they'll drop a note of warning or something telling, oh, we do not actually allow persons to pull data from this site. We do not do this and this and this on this site. Why? Because of this and that. Most especially websites who has got a backend that's got people's personal details, e.g. a website like, I don't want to say Konga because Konga is e-commerce, it's all public. Websites who actually got people's personal data, because yes, their websites need to log in, create an email, create an account for yourself with an email, and actually document it. So in that part, that is why some part in which web scraping, Paul, yes, I see you can unmute yourself when I'm done. That's when web scraping then becomes ethical hacking. That's when web scraping, no, not ethical hacking, rather. That's when web scraping then become hacking. You get? Because it's no longer web scraping then, because people are then going after people's personal data on that site. So that's why most of the time some sites say we do not agree this and this. In case we get to know, we'll sue, we'll do this and do like that. You get to on some particular site when you get to, they say they record cookies. So those cookies, once you go on those websites, click OK. Sometimes you don't even need to click OK. Once you reach the site, just tell you this site enables cookies. What it means that they can track you back and start following your web activities and then start sending you ads. So Paul, go ahead and unmute yourself. So that is it about such sites. Paul, go ahead, unmute yourself or type it in the comment section and let's talk. Please, more questions, and more questions. Is Paul there?
I have a question.
Go ahead. Paul is on your.
It'll be very funny, but then I've noticed that, like, let's say I'm on a call with someone and I talk about a particular product. It's just very weird, and like almost immediately, maybe when I go on Google or Instagram, I start seeing ads for that product. And I'm always like, I did not browse for this thing. So how come, are they actually tapping information like through calls or something? I would like to know.
Yes, so it's really, really hard for us to say. Yes, Mr. Femi, as much as questions you have, just click unmute yourself and talk. As much as it is really, really hard to prove, at least I know about WhatsApp chat. They start chatting about, oh, I want to buy shoes. I'm looking to buy a kind of shoe like this. Before you know it, from nowhere, you just start seeing ads about shoes. You get, so it's hard to prove. It's hard to prove, but there are different articles online that says they actually might be listening, or they actually might be listening to some particular keywords, but it's just hard to prove. We don't yet have cogent proof yet. But things around machine learning can also actually point to things like that. But I actually feel it's something around machine learning. Paul, go ahead, unmute yourself and say something. Mr. Femi, in case you have something, go ahead, unmute yourself and say something. So Paul, you have the floor.
Okay, good evening. So based on this last question you answered now, I want to chip in something fast. Like, are we going to say that some of these things are also covered in the terms and conditions that we overlook?
Okay, so till now, I have never read WhatsApp terms and conditions. BBS terms and conditions, I never read it. I just
WhatsApp, Google, or like a lot of these things that we use for free. Maybe we can go through the permissions to check. Okay, so my question, I said maybe Google also, like Google, like iOS, Google, like a lot of these things. Maybe we just go through the permissions to confirm if they can take such data. Anyway, my question now is, I think ethics, like when handling data.
Yeah.
Like we could be handling public data.
Yeah.
But at that point, where you use it and the public data becomes sensitive, like public data can actually be weaponized.
Yes. That's what they did with Cambridge Analytica.
Yeah. So would you talk about like ethics when handling such data? Because, okay, let me take, for example, journalists.
Yeah.
If a journalist is to actually dig through your public data and, you know,
go ahead, Paul. I can't hear you. Is Paul still on this call, or am I on this call?
Easily.
Okay.
Yeah. So can you talk about like ethics when handling data?
So yes, okay, so good question. Ethics when handling data, especially when handling massive data. That's got to do with public data on different issues. So for me personally, it's really something which I had to actually discuss with a good number of my associates, especially. I tell them you cannot share any of these companies' files. It's actually boldly written on their employment letter. Majorly why? Because if you start sharing, if you say, no, I can share this, I can share that, before you know it, one day, you just share some sensitive files. And because as analysts, we tend to work with NDAs on behalf of the firm, and I'm the one that will sign the NDA, not my associates. But it's also critical that they also get to know that, especially when I'm signing an NDA, I call everyone and tell them, hey, this job is coming with an NDA. Or I tend to tell them and things like that. So the ethics majorly first lies on the person. Okay, so under the Nigerian law, there's who we call the data controller and the data. We discussed these terms in data governance. I can't really remember, but the data controller is actually the one who's actually in charge of the data, who collected the data. He's actually the one who's actually liable. Is actually liable to this and that, maybe to suing and the likes. So in terms like that, in terms like this, it is majorly really left to him or her to ensure. If you want to show your video, yes, go ahead. Because I've not shown my video here for weeks. So if you want to show your video, it's not a problem. You can go ahead and show your video. Sorry, I just almost lost my train of thought. So it's majorly the responsibility lies on the data controller. So here, if you are the data controller, why did you collect the data is the biggest questions. So, and I've said it before, I said you actually want to ask questions about data bias. And I say you have to be biased majorly to your brief or to the project, or to the project you have in front of you. So you must know that, okay, we collected this data for this reason. So we stick to that reason. We collected this data to do this. We ensure we use it to do that. And after, like under the GDPR rule says, after 2 or 3 years, the data has to be deleted. You do not still keeping this things, because the more and more of this data you keep, although the NDRP does not tell us, is silent on that. Because the more and more of this data you tend to sit on, the more, I don't want to say powerful, the more very powerful you become. You get, depending on the type of data we're also talking about. You get, depending on the type of data we're talking about. So that is actually, so it's majorly persons who are actually the data controller. You must know what the responsibilities and the responsibilities of the data controller is about, or your responsibilities as a data controller. So once you can actually get to actually understand that, then you know the level of responsibility on your shoulders, and it should be able to guide you in what you are actually trying to do. And please, I've been saying this a whole lot. Go and watch The Great Hack, Cambridge Analytica, majorly about Facebook doing, majorly pushing fake news to persons who are most likely to vote for Hillary Clinton. So that was it. They just discourage persons who are most likely to vote for Hillary Clinton with fake news about Hillary Clinton. That's just the summary. So more questions. I want us to end this session for 8:10. More questions about data, more questions about private, public data. Then please, if you want us to show a particular insight, please drop it on the Dear Analyst Telegram group. Please drop it on Dear Analyst. This is not entertainment. This is not BB Nigeria entertainment. These things actually concerns us. That's what I'm asking people. Please drop it on the Dear Analyst Telegram group, and let's get to the kick. Mr. Femi, any more question? iPhone 1, any more question? iPhone 1, please, what's your name again? I want to know your name so I stop calling you iPhone 1.
Damilola.
Yes, I didn't get that.
Damilola.
Okay, Damilola. Yeah, nice. Nice. So please, questions, more questions, comment section before we then move forward with, or we call it a day. So Damilola, please send insight. Type it on the comments on the Dear Analyst Telegram group. Tell us, show us insight about this, show us insight about that. Issues, what are the issues happening in JAWS, what are the this, what are the that, based on that. So I also said something, geolocation of tweets or regions of tweets is quite expensive. We may not be able to go into that, but we would actually explore everything we need to explore. Femi, you want to say something?
Yes. Are there exceptions to which you can share private data? Or are there any loopholes?
Before you share somebody's phone number, it is good you inform the person, hey, I want to share this phone number between this, and this. You get? Now, another set of persons in which, yes, their data is not private data, are journalists. Journalists, their data are not private data. So you get journalists, their data. So I can share you a list of journalists. You get, it is not private data. Because why? Why is it that you need their phone number? Why do you need the phone number of a journalist? You want to pitch a story to them. You want to tell them, you want to report something. So a journalist's phone number and email address, and where he works, e.g., particular journalist, journalist Daniel Oji works for Punch newspaper. His phone number and email address, before, back in the days when newspapers used to sell, they always put their phone number and email address, contact me this. So it's mostly not personal, it's mostly not private data. You get? Because I do that a whole lot. I get journalists' phone numbers and their emails. I send them a mail and then forward a text message and say, hey, sir, I just sent you a mail. Would you like to talk about my analytics? Most of the time when we start speaking or reporting, we just start pushing to different journalists out there. So questions, more questions before we then. Mr. Femi, you want to say something?
I'm thinking, but okay, the thing is this. Now you talked about non-disclosure agreements. You've always talked about it in these sessions.
Hello, Mr. Femi, are you with us? Oh, maybe it's internet. So just give him a while to join us. So welcome back. Please go ahead and ask your question.
So as I was saying, let's say fraud happened in a company. It's whatever happens and all is still within that company. If someone should leak that, okay, I think there was a some time ago they leaked maybe a paper or something about Tinubu and siphoning some funds or something like that. Yeah. Is that all? Since I believe it's also private data, but the person that leaked it, can he also be sued for leaking something like that?
Yes.
Wow.
We had a session on it under data governance. Data governance, I think, was 2 sessions. Maybe data governance or NDAs, I can't remember. We made mentions of people like Edward Snowden that actually leaked that the American government was actually listening to people's phone calls and the like. Today has the amnesty, or what's it called? Political asylum, rather. Political asylum in Russia. You get different persons, yes, come as whistleblowers. Different persons come as whistleblowers, yes. Now, for people in finance, if you notice fraud or something, the ethics of for people in finance or account, when they notice fraud or people siphoning money, the ethics of their profession says they come forward, they make a report. And when they make the report, they need to be protected. You get, so when they make the report against their company and the likes, that is why we have companies that are just majorly based on audits. You get, that's why in the Big Four, we have companies based on audit, the likes of PwC, Deloitte, and likes. You get, they come in to audit all these big firms, banks, and all these other firms. They come in to major audit them. You get, so once they actually notice this, there actually has to be a whistleblower, somebody comes to blow the whistle, and the whistleblower's identity has to be kept. Most of the time, they tend to even leave the firm and they charge me just to actually set them up in another firm as well too. And they charge me to keep it and say, oh, to keep it, say that this person is not the person that blew the whistle. They just charge me just to keep it covered. E.g., and the Nigerian government sometimes, see last 30 years ago, saying if you blow the whistle, you get 65% of a particular embezzled amount. And yes, people are coming out to blow the whistle. So it's also critical. Once they blow the whistle, they definitely keep their information, ensure that people don't know who actually leaked out the data or leaked out the information. So those things also apply as well too. It's 8:12, and I want to say a very big thank you for everybody for coming. Let's just draw the curtain. Today was a special edition. I didn't prepare for it. It was just an hour ago. After talking to your friends, like, why not just do something and feel just to do something? But please, we need insight. Just keep sending the insight. We need insight. We need insight, and we need insight. We need insight. In case of no question, I'd like to end today's meeting and say a very big thank you to everybody who made this possible in a very short time. A very big thank you to everybody on my team who's been working back to back. So thank you so much, Aziz. Thank you so much, Tony in Aception. Thank you so much, everybody. I want to say a very big thank you. It's been awesome, really, really awesome working on this and getting actually to make it. Today is episode 51. It's actually been really, really run. It was until last week I counted and I'm like, wow, episode 50. We started this 25th of March, 2020. And this is where we are. Don't forget everything about data after this. I need help. We all need help. But any help you need, please put on the Telegram group. I always try to do it, always put it and just answer our questions. Any help you need, put on Telegram group, and let's then see how we can support each other. I don't necessarily have to be the person to help you. I always mention person because Telegram group, we have people who hasn't even got more experience than myself. So I just mention those people and then go follow up conversation with DM, call them. If they don't respond, let me know. I'll just call them and also put in a word for you. Bayo, you want to say something? Bayo, everybody, you want to say something?
No, I'm cool.
So in that sense of nice time to end, I want to say thank you so much for coming. Good night. Please keep lending your voice to discourse. Please donate. Don't just talk about it. Give, donate, give your time, give your data on your mobile hotspot for somebody to use to talk about it. Let us keep putting pressure. Why? You might not have gone through these things, or persons have gone through these things, and it is not. It's a sad story, a very, very sad story. You get. Thank you very much, and good night.
Enjoy your night, Deji.
Good
and
night,
everybody.
All.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, good night.